One, I'm a dunker. Hi again, I'm Ryan, your host for The Toast. So I got to see Krampus this weekend, and I've been waiting for this movie for a long time. Now, in terms of dark Christmas movies, Nightmare Before Christmas is obviously the pinnacle, the Top Gun, the epitome of dark, edgy, but cool Christmas movies. But for the past few years, Krampus has been getting more and more popular in the West. For those of you who don't know, Krampus is like the anti-Santa Claus, the shadow of St. Nicholas. He's the evil version. He comes to punish you instead of give you stuff. And the old lore used to kidnap children and carry them away in a basket on his back. So yeah, instead of giving, he takes. Now, at first it was just cool to like Krampus because he was the next dark chapter in a Christmas story. But actually, he's been around for a long time, which I really like. And I think people who latch on to Krampus really dig into that and be like, oh, you know, he's not just some new invention. He's been around a while. And he finally makes his big screen debut. Well, they've made a few movies with Krampus in them, but nothing really focusing on him and really giving him the attention. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to say I really enjoyed this movie. It looked awesome and it sounded awesome and the atmosphere was really cool. Not the temperature cool. Now, as PG horror goes, it's pretty basic, but it's saved by all the really cool ideas and imagery. Krampus himself just looks really intimidating and really amazing and out of place and out of shape and something you just don't see. There's a scene right at the beginning when he's leaping from rooftop to rooftop. It was my favorite scene in the movie. It was threatening. The girl's running down the street and this thing's just leaping. There's no way she's gonna get away from it, and the power and the sound, and it's so good. This dark hunchback horned figure just sitting on the rooftop waiting for you. The movie opens really well. It's got this slow motion shot of like Black Friday shoppers just beating each other up over merchandise. It was really clever for them to just show what Christmas has become rather than what it used to be in the old days. So right off the bat, they've got the film is punching you in the face with a few messages. Now normally I would say this movie isn't one you need to see in the theater, you can see it at home. But when I was in the theater, the rumbling of the storm outside that he conjures up and just the sound of him his hooves walking around on the roof, that's something I'm glad I saw it in the theater for. Now, as you've probably seen from the trailer, yes, they have guns. And usually, I have a problem with guns in every horror movie because it seems like everyone just gets a gun and it turns into a gun show. But in this one, they have a legitimate reason why they have guns. They're in America! Of course the redneck uncle has guns. Speaking of the redneck uncle and the rest of his family, they were good comic relief. I mean, I know the humor, it felt like it was going to fall flat a few places where it didn't belong, but you kind of needed the humor. In places where the atmosphere was just getting too heavy, and because it's PG-13, they couldn't really delve too dark into it. So they had the humor there to just break it up, and I laughed. It's funny. Now, Krampus is the star of the show, but we don't actually get much of him, but I don't mind that because, you know, you can't just fill the movie with the whole title character. But you deal with his minions a lot. And the minions are great. They're like little classic toys that are just demonic and twisted and got big sharp pointy teeth. The bear. There's always a bear. Now in every movie I tend to see, there's always a bear. At some point, there's always a bear. It started with Chernobyl Diaries where this bear just comes out of nowhere. So now in every movie I always manage to spot a bear, and there's always a bear. In this movie, the bear is my favorite part. It's this totally bear with his big teeth and he's just like, yeah. Yeah, he was my favorite part. If I ever saw him in the store, I would totally buy one. And when we finally do get to see Krampus in all his glory, he's really disturbing looking. He's got this really gaunt face and open mouth, and it's just, it really is the shadow of St. Nicholas. I almost prefer that they didn't show his face and they just kept a dark hooded character and left it up to your imagination, but I wasn't disappointed with what they did show us. Guys, in the end, I really enjoyed Krampus. I thought it was a great alternative to the classic holiday movies. It had a good atmosphere, it had some dark tones. It's directed by Michael Dougherty, who directed Trick or Treat, another great Halloween movie you should check out. So the guy has some chops directing creepy little things in horror movies. If you know anything about Krampus, I definitely recommend going and see this. Maybe not in the theater, but just checking it out at home. It's definitely worth a watch. In the end, I would say this is toast with jam. Basic solid bread, but with some really sweet ideas on top. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and I hope you liked my hat. Catch you next time on Toast. Cheers.